Do you remember your first bike ride? The wind in your hair, the thrill of freedom, and the proud grin when you finally pedaled without falling? That same spirit, that joy, strength, and curiosity doesn't vanish just because we've added a few more candles to the birthday cake. Yet, society often paints a gloomy picture of aging, frailty, loneliness, irrelevance. But are those really the truths of getting older? This topic matters deeply. Why? Because how we think about aging influences how we experience it. For seniors especially, believing negative myths can limit joy, independence, and health. It's time to challenge those myths and embrace what growing older really looks like. Myth 1. Aging means losing your independence. When Margaret turned 76, her daughter suggested she move into an assisted living facility. Just in case, she said. But Margaret had been living alone in her New Jersey home for over 50 years. Instead of agreeing, she made a decision. She signed up for a beginner's yoga class at the community center. 6 months later, she was leading a gentle yoga group for women over 70. Why this myth persists? People often confuse aging with dependency. Movies and media focus on the exceptions, the frail, the bedridden, not the millions of active, self-reliant seniors thriving around the world. Why it's not true? Aging doesn't automatically equal decline. In fact, many seniors live independently well into their 80s and 90s. With the right lifestyle choices, support systems, and mindset, independence can be maintained and even enhanced with age. Actionable steps. Stay physically active. Walking, swimming, or gentle stretching helps maintain mobility and balance. Use technology to your advantage. Apps like MediSafe for medication reminders or Google Home to control lights and set reminders can support independence. Adapt your space. Install grab bars in bathrooms, improve lighting, and keep often used items within easy reach to make your home safer and easier to navigate. Myth 2. You can't learn new things when you're older. Robert, a retired mail carrier from Wisconsin, had never touched a computer until he was 72. After his granddaughter taught him how to use Zoom, he started taking online painting classes. Now, at 78, he's not only painting landscapes, he's selling them. Why this myth persists? There's a common belief that the brain becomes too set in its ways to learn new skills or adapt to technology as we age. This outdated view discourages older adults from trying new things. Why it's not true? The brain retains its ability to form new connections throughout life, a concept called neuroplasticity. Seniors can, and do, learn new languages, musical instruments, crafts, and digital tools every day. Actionable steps. Try brain training apps. Programs like Lumosity or Elevate can improve memory and problem solving. Join a class. Local community colleges or online platforms like Coursera offer courses tailored for seniors. Practice curiosity. Ask questions, explore new hobbies, and stay socially connected with people who challenge your thinking. Myth 3. Getting older means being lonely. Every Friday, 82-year-old Helen hosts a coffee and crossword morning in her Massachusetts living room. It started with her neighbor and now includes a retired teacher, a widowed nurse, and even a former jazz musician. They laugh, chat, and sometimes argue over 7-letter words. Why this myth persists? People assume that as friends and family move away or pass on, isolation becomes inevitable. The stereotype of the lonely senior is deeply embedded in our culture. Why it's not true? While loneliness is a real issue for some, it's not a certainty. Many older adults build new, meaningful relationships in retirement through clubs, faith groups, volunteer work, or neighborhood networks. Actionable steps. Find community groups, whether it's a book club, a walking group, or a faith-based gathering. Joining something regular builds bonds. Volunteer. Helping others not only reduces loneliness, but also boosts mental well-being. Stay connected virtually. Use video calls, messaging apps, or senior-friendly platforms like Get Set Up to stay socially active. More myths still linger in the shadows of aging, and we'll shine a light on those soon. But for now, let's remember, getting older doesn't mean growing weaker, lonelier, or slower. It can mean becoming wiser, freer, and more fully ourselves. Myth 4. Older adults can't stay physically fit. James, an 81-year-old former high school principal from Oregon, once believed his jogging days were over. After a minor hip surgery at 76, He thought he'd never get back to his morning runs. But during a casual walk in his neighborhood park, he saw another senior, older than him, power walking with a group. Inspired, James slowly got back into it. Today, he walks 3 miles every morning and leads a senior walking club. Why this myth persists? Many people assume that with age comes inevitable stiffness, weakness, and pain. We associate youth with movement and old age with stillness. This discourages seniors from trying to stay active, fearing injury or thinking it's too late. Why it's not true? Aging bodies may need more care and gentler routines, but physical fitness is absolutely possible and powerful at any age. Regular movement reduces the risk of chronic diseases, boosts mood, and improves balance and bone health. Actionable steps. Start small. Even 10-minute walks around your home or neighborhood add up. Try age-appropriate exercise. Chair yoga, tai chi, water aerobics, and resistance band training are senior-friendly and effective. Listen to your body. Stretch before and after, stay hydrated, and consult a doctor or trainer before starting something new. Myth 5. It's too late to follow your dreams. At 70, Maria from Vancouver finally enrolled in the writing course she'd been dreaming about since she was 25. For decades, life got in the way: marriage, kids, work. Now retired, she decided to write her story. Her memoir was self-published at 74 and has inspired dozens of others in her community. Why this myth persists? There's a quiet voice society whispers to older adults: your time has passed. That voice is wrong. Life doesn't come with an expiration date for purpose, passion, or creativity. Why it's not true? Some of the world's most remarkable contributions came from seniors. Grandma Moses started painting at 78. Colonel Sanders founded KFC in his 60s. Age often brings more clarity, patience, and resilience, perfect ingredients for pursuing dreams. Actionable steps. Write down your dream. No matter how big or small, give it shape. Take the first step, whether it's a call, a class, or setting aside time daily. Start. Surround yourself with encouragers. Join groups or forums of people chasing goals later in life. It's never too late. Myth 6. Mental decline is inevitable. Lillian, a retired librarian from Chicago, noticed she was forgetting names and where she left her keys. She feared it was early dementia, but after visiting a specialist, she learned that her brain was healthy, just underused. She began doing crossword puzzles, joined a trivia group, and learned to play the ukulele. A year later, she not only remembered names, she was teaching her grandkids to sing along as she played. Why this myth persists? We often equate forgetfulness with decline. And it's true, aging brings some cognitive changes. But that doesn't mean losing sharpness or capability. Why it's not true? Not all memory lapses are signs of disease. The brain, like a muscle, gets stronger the more you use it. Studies show that mental stimulation, social connection, and good sleep significantly reduce cognitive decline risk. Actionable steps. Challenge your brain. Puzzles, memory games, reading, or even learning a new language can help. Stay socially active. Conversation, laughter, and shared stories are excellent for brain health. Prioritize good sleep and nutrition. These directly affect memory and mood. Myth 7. Older people can't make new friends. After her husband passed away, Evelyn, a retired nurse in Toronto, felt the silence of her house louder than ever. Her children were grown, busy with their own families, and her old friends had either moved or passed on. For months, loneliness crept in like a fog. Then one day at her local library, she struck up a conversation with a woman in the history aisle. That moment blossomed into a book club, a weekly lunch meetup, and now, a circle of 6 women in their 70s who call themselves the Silver Sisters. Why this myth persists? People think friendship is a young person's game. That deep bonds are formed only in school, college, or early adulthood. It's also common to feel awkward about reaching out or starting over socially at an older age. Why it's not true? Friendships aren't bound by age. They're bound by shared experiences, kindness, and time. In fact, seniors often have the emotional maturity and patience that make for richer, more meaningful connections. Actionable steps. Put yourself where people gather. Join community classes, churches, clubs, or senior centers. Be open and curious. Smile. Say hello. Ask a question. You'd be surprised how quickly conversations can turn into connections. Use technology wisely. Apps like Meetup, Stitch, or Facebook groups for seniors can help you find like-minded people nearby or online. Myth 8. You stop having fun after 65. George and Diane, a couple in their late 70s from Colorado, spent their 40th anniversary zip-lining through a forest. It had been on their bucket list for years. When they told their grandkids, the kids couldn't believe it until they saw the GoPro footage. "We screamed the whole way down," Diane laughed, "and we loved every second." Why this myth persists. The stereotype of aging is all routine and restrictions. No more dancing, no spontaneous road trips, no silly adventures. People forget that fun isn't reserved for the young. Why it's not true. Fun doesn't retire, people do. In fact, with fewer responsibilities and more time, older adults can often have more fun. The key is being open to joy, play, and new experiences. Actionable steps. Make a fun list every month. Include both big, like traveling, and small things, like trying a new dessert. Say yes more often. If someone invites you out, go, even if you're unsure. Joy often hides in the unexpected. Bring back old hobbies. Think of what made you smile at 20 or 30, dancing, gardening, painting, and rediscover it with fresh eyes. Myth 9. Seniors aren't valuable to society. In a small town outside of Seattle, 84-year-old Samuel volunteers 3 times a week at a local elementary school, helping kids learn how to read. "I may walk a little slower," he jokes, "but I've got all the time and patience in the world for these kids." The students call him Grandpa Sam, and every Friday, they gather around him for story time. Parents have said their children now look forward to reading, all because of one senior who chose to give his time and heart. Why this myth persists. Modern culture often idolizes youth, speed, innovation, technology, leaving little room to celebrate experience, wisdom, and mentorship. Seniors are sometimes overlooked in decision-making, media, and workspaces, creating a false sense that their time of contribution is over. Why it's not true. Older adults bring irreplaceable value, life experience, emotional insight, cultural memory, and mentorship. From guiding younger generations to volunteering, caregiving, and even starting businesses, seniors continue to shape families, communities, and society. Actionable steps. Find a cause that lights you up, whether it's mentoring, tutoring, gardening, or serving meals. Your time and wisdom are needed. Tell your story, whether through writing, podcasting, or sharing in a local group. Your experiences can inspire and teach others. Speak up and stay visible. Participate in town halls, community meetings, or family discussions. Your voice matters, and it carries weight. Myth 10. Romance and intimacy fade with age. Nina, 67, met Paul, 70, at a retirement dance in San Diego. Both had lost spouses years earlier. Neither expected much, but they laughed, danced, and exchanged numbers. Today, they're traveling together and exploring a new chapter of companionship. "Love didn't leave us," Nina says. "We just had to be open to finding it again." Why this myth persists. Movies and media often show love and intimacy as a young person's game. Passion, dates, kisses, all under 40. Seniors are rarely portrayed as romantic, leaving many to believe that desire, affection, and even love simply stop at a certain age. Why it's not true. Romance may change with time, but it never disappears. Emotional intimacy often deepens with age, and physical closeness, whether hand-holding, cuddling, or slow dancing, remains deeply meaningful. Love is not bound by age, and many seniors find new relationships, joy, and connection later in life. Actionable steps. Open your heart, whether single, widowed, or divorced. Allow yourself the possibility of new connection. Prioritize emotional closeness, shared memories, laughter, deep talks, all nourish intimacy. Talk openly. Honest conversations about needs, desires, and comfort can lead to fulfilling companionship at any age. Embrace the truths of aging. As we wrap up this journey of debunking myths about aging, take a moment to reflect on the truths we've uncovered. You've learned that aging doesn't mean losing independence. In fact, with the right mindset and support, it can lead to more self-reliance and freedom than ever before. You've discovered that learning and growth don't stop with age. your curiosity can still spark new adventures. Whether it's picking up a ukulele or mastering a new skill. And, perhaps most importantly, you've realized that joy and connection are always within reach. It's never too late to make new friends, find love, or simply have fun. Remember, the journey of aging is much like the paths we took in our youth, full of detours, surprises, and moments of unexpected beauty. Think back to when you first learned to ride a bike, feeling the rush of wind against your face, your heart pounding in excitement. That spirit of adventure, that joy of learning, of embracing the present, is still within you. It's not about how many years you've lived, but how fully you choose to live them. As the Stoic philosopher Seneca once said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it. So let's not waste time lamenting over what we can't change. Instead, let's focus on what we can create in this very moment. The beauty of aging lies not in slowing down, but in discovering new ways to move forward with purpose and passion. The intergenerational wisdom shared by elders like your grandparents or parents reminds us that, through every season of life, there is something valuable to contribute. You bring wisdom, resilience, and love that no one else can offer. So, let's reject the myths that try to box us in and instead embrace the truths that allow us to keep growing, emotionally, socially, and physically. Your call to action. Now, as you stand at this stage of your life, ask yourself, what new chapter do you want to write? Whether it's pursuing a long-held dream, taking that yoga class, or simply reaching out to an old friend, the next step is yours to take. Start small, but start. Reflect on the wisdom that comes with age and share it with others. Join that community group, pick up a new hobby, or volunteer your time. You have a wealth of experiences to offer, and the world needs them. So, let's do this together. Share your experiences, reach out, stay curious, and always remember, it's never too late to live fully. Aging is not a downhill slope. It's a journey that, when embraced with open arms, brings the potential for more joy, connection, and meaning than we could ever imagine. Take a moment now. Breathe. Reflect on the myths you've challenged and the truths you've embraced. Now, what will you do next? The adventure is still unfolding. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel.